Beyond Synth 394.
Hey there, welcome to the show. This is Beyond Synth, and today I am going to be catching up with Droid Bishop. Normally we do a yearly catch-up, but I realized we did not do one last year, so we're gonna do it now. And we're gonna do that in just a second. Did you know that Beyond Synth is supported by awesome listeners on Patreon and PayPal? And I would like to say hello, or possibly you may have just changed your currency, but it's the Naked Flame in the 450 Pound Club. I get these notifications sometimes, and they will say, you've got a new member. Sometimes that means it's a person who changed their currency, and sometimes it's somebody who was a patron, and then maybe left for a little while, but then came back, which I think this is what this is, right? Unless you've been here the whole time, and then then I'm a real asshole. Anyway, whatever. It's all good. I'm happy for your support. Naked Flame, the Naked Flame. I hope you're having a lovely day. Also, like always, I like to do a special shout out to the kings of the Pattersons: Mike Shima, Mike Erdahl, Tiber83, Brandon Decker, Timothy Carlton, Randy Dinner Dog, and Hugh Hefner. You're all cool, and thank you for supporting the show. And we'll do a little random shout out to Glenn Main, Will Lowe, Binkley, Mike and Trish, and King Koopazilla. Thanks for supporting the show. So here's the deal. When I recorded this conversation with Droid Bishop, the newest release was the classical music EP he put out, but since I recorded the show, he also put out another track, so we're going to listen to that, and then when the song is over, I will be catching up with Droid Bishop. So this is a track called The Beach, and it's cool, and you're going to dig it, and then when it's done, I'll be chatting to Droid Bishop. So this is Droid Bishop. I just I feel like I said Droid Bishop like 8 times in a row. This is Droid Bishop with the track The Beach.
adjustments on my level?
I think you're okay.
Okay. Alrighty.
Yeah, it's all good.
Well, let's hit it.
All right. Well, I'm here catching up with Mr. Droid Bishop. How's it going, man?
It's going great. And how are you, my friend?
I'm okay.
Health check passed.
So we've decided, because we're on a tight schedule, so we literally just hit record the second we started chatting. So we've got a lot to catch up on. We didn't even do intro banter.
Well, sometimes we always talk about interesting stuff before we hit record. So maybe that will work this time, or maybe we'll just say all the stuff we didn't want anyone to hear right now. So let's go into that.
So look, last time you were here was I think the last episode I released for you was recorded in like October of 2022. So it's been a while.
Yes, 13 months.
Except I don't know when this is going to air. So this might
14, 15 months.
Yeah, this might be part of the new season. It's very exciting. So
when does it kick off, the new season?
I don't know, in January, I guess.
All right, calendar year. Let's go.
So, any new life developments I need to know about?
Life developments. I created a life.
Ooh.
And she's 7 months old.
How's that going?
Great.
So are you home? Are you like the primary dude, like caregiver? Or is
we're all home. I mean, I've been home for my whole life, to be honest, as a composer, musician. So if I'm not on the road, I'm home, or, we all record from home most of these days, like studio stuff. So I'm good. Like, COVID, everything kind of set us up for what we're dealing with anyway. So we're good. Like, I know that, things can be up and down, and those first couple of months are pretty hectic trying to figure things out. But, I'm good. Like, the baby's super chill, and you cross over that threshold and you can't go back. I can't think of life without her, so it's all good. And I'm still maintaining what I'm doing, like creatively and musically. Like, life just got a little harder, in not a bad way, just you have to be a good dad, a good partner, and you have to be a good musician and creator and artist, and those things, none of them will stop. It's just now just more shit to do.
How's your sleep?
It's good. Like, it was terrible, at the beginning, and you're just kind of like, kill me now, and all those nice thoughts. But
mine's still pretty bad, and it's like 11 years later.
Yeah. And how many do you have?
Two.
Yeah. You hear different things. I hear something like that from you, and I'm kind of like, that's great. I can't wait for that, and looking forward to all that. But you can also be like, maybe that's just your situation, and maybe I've got a little angel here. I don't know. Who knows? But everyone has their different opinion. You'll see some dad, or like some older friend, and he'll be like, man, you look good for no sleep. And I'm like, I'm sleeping fine.
That's great, because I also have a good healthy amount of like paranoia in me, and so part of the loss of sleep was just that I always wanted to check on the baby. And so like, if he was making noise, I'd wake up, and if he wasn't making noise, I would also wake up.
Exactly. It's a catch-22, and I'm a neurotic person, and all these Larry David vibes. And so I the first couple months, every morning is like, is she alive?
Yeah.
And even now, just the constant paranoid thing for the rest of my life, and just where if her and her mom go out somewhere, I'm just like, well, they're in a car crash, they're dead right now. And I'm accepting it right now, and I'm learning how to accept it. And then you kind of gear yourself up for a text that's like, everything's fine. I'm like, I knew they were okay,
man. I have the exact same problem.
They're all dead.
It's so frustrating, because honestly, I function fine when I'm by myself and people can go out, and I work and I'm in my office and editing and stuff. And it's not like I want everyone to be coming into my room constantly and interrupting me.
Not at all. But if they don't, you're like, huh?
Yeah, it's like they'll go somewhere and then, oh yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back at 5. If it's like 5:01,
exactly,
it's just like, what's going on? Meanwhile, I'm late to everything. Like, so it's stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the exact same way. It's always been that way. Like, my parents, if they don't come back, or they didn't, it's like, they're dead.
Yeah,
my parents are dead. Like, whatever didn't. No one called me. They're not my friend anymore. They must be dead. They're all dead. I think I have this. I need to quickly go there in a place and control that feeling if it's true, so I can accept it. The last thing you want is to be surprised, like, they're dead. What? It's a control thing. I would chalk it up to just a sense of controlling the situation, and I'm choosing that they're dead before someone tells me. It's weird and it's sick and it's a coping mechanism for neurosis and all these things, but I'm sure you deal with your healthy palette of those colors.
Yeah, man, I'm exactly the same, but I just don't know. I've never known why. Like, I don't know what part of my childhood like triggered this to be part of my character, but
yeah,
it just is, and it's just my brain always goes to the worst thing. That's why I could never handle, those Final Destination movies.
Oh, like I love them, but that exactly horrible for someone like me, but I like them still.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Because my brain is doing that all the time.
Yeah.
I probably said this on the show before, but I remember like my wife's old house where she used to live with her family. They had this banister and it got like removed from the stairwell, but there was just this piece of wood sticking up that looked like someone had just like broken off. Like, when people break
like a
brooms in movies to use as a weapon?
Yeah.
So it's just this piece of wood that's kind of broken a bit and pointed, and I had to remove it because they just lived with it and it was just always there. And I only visited from time to time, but I got there and I got tools and I just pulled it out and like, what are you doing? I'm like, dude, as long as that's there, all I do is constantly imagine falling and that thing going through my head or somebody else's head. Like that's like all I think about when I see that thing.
No, I mean, I'm the same way on every time I drive. Usually when there are other people in the car, I'm fine by myself, but on the freeways every day, I just see the scene, and I think it's either the second one where a big log trucker, like he crashes and causes this big pile up on the freeway, and I'm just playing these Final Destination images in my brain pretty much all day.
Did you ever see the movie The Descent?
Oh yeah. So like that opening scene, right,
yeah,
where in the car, and if anyone hasn't seen it and they like horror movies, I recommend this is a top-notch horror movie for lots of reasons, and beyond that first scene. And I'm tangenting, but yes, that first scene. And
so that's something I always think about too. If there's a truck in front that's like hauling things and has like the straps around it, in my head it's just like, well, those straps go out and then a bunch of metal bars fly in here and impale everybody, and like that's just what my brain does.
Yeah, and and I just try to maintain and stay positive throughout this life of terror and anticipation of impending doom. So, yeah.
Well, listen, how about this? Let's, we have some impending music. You've released a few Droid Bishop things since we last talked. You also released this other thing, which we can talk about as well, right? Are you okay to talk about Yachts on Fire?
Oh, yeah. I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I got your criminal record here. And so
I never touched her.
How about... So how about this? I'm debating what we should do first. Let's listen to a Yachts on Fire track, and then maybe you can talk about this project.
Sure thing.
Because I dig it. It's got a cool sound, but it still has a bit of Droid Bishop flavor in there, so it's fun. So let's just play the first track off Yachts on Fire, the album Ride by Night. This is The Navigator.
Let's do it.
And that was the Navigator by Yachts on Fire, who is actually Droid Bishop. What?
Hello. Mask reveal.
What's the deal with this project?
Obviously, I like a lot of different music and lots of things. And, you know, a big part of me is a jazz guy. And also with that, there's like a fusion thing. And then through that, there's the yacht rock jazz elements. And I just feel like Droid Bishop has kind of been my main outlet for the last like 10 years. And, you know, anyone who's kind of stayed with me through this journey can kind of see that I go off and do things. And, you know, some things might not be like synthwave to a T. And I felt like maybe I was just kind of trying to do too much in this Droid Bishop thing and turning it into something. And yeah, you don't have to do what other people do. And I want Droid Bishop to be original sounding, but I just felt like maybe I was asking too much of a lot of the audience to like, hey, I like this stuff. Why don't you like it too? Like if it's all like one sound, like, and I just started to think that, you know what, why don't I just do this other project that's different, but maybe has certain feels and elements kind of the direction I was leaning in on, maybe like the abstract album I did. So I just felt like, you know what, just do something that's kind of straight ahead, yacht rock jazz, like Steely Dan or Michael McDonald vibes. So then you're kind of like, here's 5 songs that sound like this, and that's a package. You want that? That's fine. You don't want this in other Droid Bishop songs? They won't be there. And I don't know. It's not like I'm trying to do what other people want me to do, but I just felt like maybe I was trying to like repackage something, and that's not totally fair to the directed audience, if that kind of makes sense.
Honestly, dude, this is a funny conversation. You and I are on like parallel thought for a lot of things, because I'm having literally this exact crisis right now where every year I keep sort of reinventing the podcast. I was doing exactly what you just said, where I'm like, I'm putting my audience through something.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like if I just continued to just produce Beyond Synth and have like a consistent format, it would be more accessible. But since I was only doing Beyond Synth, I keep on putting all my silly ideas and experimenting with the show.
Exactly.
Because I get bored, right? So like every season I have to change something or else I'm bored.
Yeah.
So I just started volunteering and helping other podcasts and stuff, like with like video editing and stuff, to sort of get that out of my system. I'm like, I'll do my silly ideas over here. And then this season of Beyond Synth is going to almost be more of a traditional one where it's like, I think people just are here for the interviews and the music and not necessarily, you know, all of my nonsense. Yeah.
I mean, we are on the same page, and I get that. And a lot of artists are like that. And it's been 10 years for both of us. And I'm sure you're in a 10-year reflecting pool. And I feel like, you know, I want people to totally understand that I feel like I am one of the more luckier people in not only the music industry in general, because like just it's very hard to get any of your music heard or taken seriously, but in the synthwave scene, I am one of the more luckier people, and I know that, and I'm thankful. But that being said, I'm not to where I thought I would be after 10 years with this project that I've put in a lot of time into. It's not some hobby for me. Maybe it started as a little bit of something side project, but I kind of put a lot of time into this and really trying to push it. And after 10 years, you look back and you're kind of like, wow, like I only made Droid Bishop music for the last 10 years, and I'm so much more than this thing. And I'm at a point right now where, like you said, like, let's focus what needs to be focused. Droid Bishop, maybe it's under this umbrella and you can wiggle and shape and move fluidly within that, but let's not kid ourselves. Like, it's synthwave, and like just try to be real about that. And that's kind of leading me to like, all right, well then I'll just make a bunch of other music at the same time. Like, you know, I've realized that the climate is so different. I can be happy with making 10 projects a year, 10 good projects a year, putting them out, working them. If something sticks, it sticks. If something doesn't, like, that's whatever. But like trying to mold one thing and try to please so many people, like, it doesn't work. And I've actually struggled with that over my Droid Bishop time, trying to like be different but palatable. And I don't know, you kind of lose people and pick people up along the way, and trying to go too hard into the EDM world and losing the synth fans, but you're not EDM enough for the clubbers, and you're just like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
What am I doing here? Because I'm giving so much of my time where someone who has a day job does this for fun and stomps me when it comes to like streaming or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if that sounds bitter forgive me. I'm not, like I said, I know I'm lucky. I pay my bills with my music, and it's so hard to get to a position that I'm in. And I'm so thankful to my fans and the audience. I really am. But you have to understand, for some artists, like, I'm an artist. This is what I do. I don't have another job. This is what I do. And I work hard and I'm good at it. And you kind of are like, what am I doing wrong here?
The tough part is, as an artist, you still are compelled in a certain way to create the art you want to create.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. Like, when I see other people who are just really easy at following trends and algorithms and this shit, that's a skill, but it's not art to me. It's like, if you just go, oh, what's popular this year?
That's marketing.
Some shitty TikTok song, I'll make music like that. Then that's not like art, you know, that's like commerce. So you're stuck in this weird place where, like, you want to make Droid Bishop music, but at the same time, it's like, you know, the synthwave scene is a weird scene and it can be sort of niche and blah, blah, blah. Even though I think your music's amazing, it is.
Well, thank you.
But it's like this weird thing where it's like, I want to do the thing I want to do. Same with me in the podcast. I want to make what I want to make, and I just want it to be way more popular.
Yeah.
But it's like, but at the same time, I don't want to do all the stupid things you got to do.
I know.
So it's like, I want magic to help me. You know, I just want like some wizard to come down and just be like, I'll give you 10,000 new listeners, like boink, whatever, like, and then he boinks me, I guess.
Yeah, he boinks you and then he leaves you. And that's the story of my life. And now I've got a daughter. You know, you kind of nailed it on the head too with that. Like, I'm kind of like exhausted of trying to play this stupid social media game. It has nothing to do with what I want to do. Don't get me wrong. Some of the like music videos I put out, like me playing, like, that's not me being like fake or anything, or like let me put on my Droid Bishop fake mask and like do this thing. That's not really what I'm saying. It's just, you do this stuff that, like, even though you enjoy the content you're making, and I hate that word, like content and content creator, and that's like another thing altogether. But when I do this stuff and it's not even like being seen, or like, I feel like I'm almost being reversed on this algorithm they have. It's like, I don't understand. Like, you read things, you study how to market and promote, and like I said, it's a job for me. I have to like research. I'm my own team. I have to do a bunch of things to analytics, and you do what is said, like, do this and this will happen, and like nothing happens. And you just, it's like, why am I spending so much time building content, which is really only to get people to hear my music?
Yes.
Like, it's not even getting out there to my fans. And like, I have like 13,000 Instagram followers, and a few hundred people of those see anything I do. And also, it's kind of like only a handful of those like engage or like it, and it's kind of like, don't even follow me then. Like, what do you want me here for if you don't like my stuff? It's just confusing. And then someone will want to mute you for your stuff, and it's like, why'd you follow me?
Yeah.
I don't randomly post a picture of my meal. It's all Droid Bishop.
Dude, I get more engagement from those. If I post a random picture of my cat, that gets way more likes than my shows do.
I know. And it's infuriating, man. Like, I really don't care how I'm coming across. If I sound bitter, that's your opinion. Like, if I sound like an asshole, that's fine too. If I sound like a great guy, love it. I don't care. They're destroying people's perception of art and quality and self-worth, and I'm over feeling bad about that stuff, and like paying so much attention to, oh man, this post or this thing I spent so long working on didn't get any engagement. No one saw it. Like, that stuff kind of weighs on you, and there's something not right out there that we're like put up against each other, and there's this competitive thing. And I feel like the algorithms like arbitrarily pick things that, like, you know what, there's 10 of this color trying to get through this door, same color, let's pick number 3.
Yes.
Number 3 red, let's push him through the door. Whether he's the best doesn't matter. Like, let's go. The other 9 are fucked.
Yes,
like,
it does
exactly
feel that way. The most frustrating thing, and we got to listen to some music, but no,
we don't, because no one will hear it.
No,
I'm just kidding. We're not even here.
No, the most frustrating thing is just that your own followers don't see it. Like, on one hand, it would sound bitter if you were one of those people with like 2 followers who goes like, how come I'm not famous and people aren't listening to my music? Which for some reason those posts end up in my feed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it'll just be like some guy complaining and just like, why is this in my feed and not the music of people who I purposefully follow? Like, why do I have to do this work? That's why this does not come across as bitterness to me, because if you have 13,000 followers, when you post something, 13,000 people should see that fucking thing in their feed.
And if not, at least half, least half, maybe. I don't know. And it's just, their setup is weird. Like, look, the whole paying for ads thing, we're swamped with ad promotion. That's its own problem in itself. But what I don't understand, like just logistically, like, hey, if you want money, give me the option of like, if you're going to be this kind of algorithmic like gatekeeper and not showing to my own followers who I've worked to get, like not bots, then give me the damn option of paying to get to my fans at least. If you're just going to make me pay ads to get to people that aren't my fans, if you want money, just tell me. I'll give you $500 now to show this to 13,000 of my followers right now. If you want to extort me like that, then let's make it work. I don't understand. I just don't understand.
That's what frustrates me, is same with like YouTube and all these other ones, is there clearly is, like the algorithm clearly has some sort of prerogatives. And what bugs me is they're always really vague about them. You know, like I think a lot of people would be a lot happier if rules were very, very clear. Never any weird wording of, you know, or even when it comes to like when people lose their account because like you said an offensive thing.
Yeah.
There should just be a list, like just a giant list that just says, don't say these sentences, don't use these words or whatever. And instead of being vague, just be like, this is the thing. This is what our algorithm does.
Well, they're vague, so they don't have any accountability.
Yeah.
And they can just be like, well, you know what I mean? Like when things like your own song gets taken off, like copyright issue, and it's like, I'm the guy who owns this song. Great AI you got there. I know that you know the situation, and you know we can joke and make jokes about it because it's almost hilarious, but I say these things, and like the bitter thing, when you're like, I don't think it sounds bitter, like believe me, a lot of people out there like who aren't really in our position or just not artists or creators, like some of them kind of get turned off by this talk, and they don't see it, like, you know, like whatever, like you're not paying Instagram for anything. Like I've been told off by people like, yeah, you're bitter sounding, and like I'm gonna mute you for your post about
I love those posts, by the way.
I know, I can't stand people like just mute me. Like don't even tell me you're gonna mute me, just whatever.
Well, that's the irony too, is that people can't do anything without wanting attention.
They want you to know they
and they want you to
you.
know that they did it, which is them wanting your attention, right? Yeah. It's a stupid thing. It's just like, I'm better than you with your whining, but I need you to know that because I'm also starved for attention. And it's like, anyway, listen, look, I want to listen to some music.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I loved one comment after that guy. He said like, yo, this was a really unnecessary comment.
Yeah.
You know, to the guy who's just whatever, just do it privately, unmute. All right, hit the jams.
Yeah. All right. How about, what was this track you did with New Arcades?
Hit it.
All right, man. It's Severed by New Arcades of Droid Bishop. All right, and that was Severed by New Arcades and Droid Bishop. I'm here catching up with Droid Bishop. It's always fun, even though we're a bunch of commiserating old men. Droid Bishop is my favorite content creator. I don't know about you guys.
I'm an artist, not a content creator.
Yeah, no, I on the fucking stupid algorithm talk, I mean, I do love those posts whenever I see you, like, with the sarcastic, like, thanks, Instagram.
Well, also, people don't understand, like, you know, we can jump off this soon, but, like, to be clear, like, that guy who called me out, it was kind of like, dude, you don't even know, like, I didn't even engage. It's kind of like, I'm doing this as, like, a test and seeing if, like, you mention their name. Like, these are all experiments, less so than me being like, whoa, Instagram, like, me, like, crying about it. It was like me racking my head trying to do different things to, like, get my posts out there. And, like, you know what, this isn't working, the hashtags, the things they're telling me to do, so I'm going to call them out and write their name saying thanks for not showing my stuff. And that got the most engagement I've ever gotten on, like, the last, like, month's posts. So just to wrap it up, that's how insane the world we are in. And it's like, you know, just, it's insane.
You need a big fat pair of boobs.
I know. Real big fat ones, you know, just fat ones. Here are my fat boobs, Instagram. Yeah, just trying everything. Well, Droid Bishop had some surgery this weekend. He's trying everything. Fat boobs.
Hey, man, the power of AI. You don't need to do anything.
Exactly. I know. That's all for another day.
Actually, that's a good question, because I feel like a lot of the AIs, because I'm using like a lot of these sort of official ones, and they do sort of have content moderation in the background. So I actually don't think I could give someone fat boobs using like Adobe AI generator or whatever. I think it wouldn't allow that.
Well, there's one way to find out, and I'm here till 10.
So, like, you're just in dad mode now.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that always sounds like, you always feel like you don't want to give up on this. Like, no, I'm still working, doing other things. Like, not a dad, not just a dad. You know, all these things that, like, you have to kind of psychologically gear yourself up from, like, yes, I'm in dad mode, but I'm also not in dad mode half of the day. And my partner's, like, super chill, and she's at home and able to help out during the day, so I can get more work done. But it's definitely a good partnership, but I definitely feel like it's pushed me to work harder and more efficiently, which is good. You can't, like, dilly-dally and be like, is this good, or should I, like, just you know what you want. The last, like, 20 years of us working at computers in our craft, like, we know now what to do. Stop dilly-dallying, like, move on, do what works, keep it moving, you know, because I've got to do other stuff. I got to cook dinner. I got to clean the horses, clean the stables, you know, milk the cows.
What do you like cooking for dinner?
All sorts of things, but I got to say, air fryer is a game changer.
Dude!
And you want, you know, it's,
dude, I don't even think you and I need to catch up.
No, we don't. So I'll be leaving now and just play the rest of my discography. I'm out.
We're like living parallel lives for the past month.
Yep.
I've just been going off because I just got an air fryer.
It's great.
And I will say it is probably the first kitchen gimmick thing I've ever bought where it, like, lived up to the hype. I mean, I get that it's not actually frying food or whatever. Like, I'm not fooled by that part of the gimmick, but just the convenience of just having a little oven on your counter that you can just open up the basket and you don't have to fucking have oven mitts, because I got the Ninja Foodie that's got the 2 drawers.
I got the Ninja. I don't have the 2-drawer one, but got that Ninja guarding my kitchen.
I hated using the oven, because I cook too, but I'm bad at it. And the oven just is always, like, so much work, preheating, and you got to wear stupid mittens. And
it's the preheat. It's the preheat and the cook time. Basically, you've got a small oven on your counter, but what you're eliminating is the preheat and the cook time. And for those, to me, those are invaluable things. Like my time is money. Me having to preheat ovens, wait like 30, 20 minutes, depending on the heat. And then the potato game in the air fryer has changed my life, because I'm a huge potato guy. Like, I make all different kinds, and there's never enough potatoes around. And you can do so much bomb potato stuff in there in a very short amount of time, like a full-blown baked potato in like 20 minutes. And it's amazing. I don't have to sell you, but we work for Ninja now and we're selling the audience. So this Christmas, this holiday season, get yourself a Ninja.
I literally used it every day. Once I got it, I do fucking bacon in there now. Like I just do everything in there because for me, the thing in my house, I become like a short order cook because everybody wants like a different dinner.
Yeah.
And since I'm one of these modern dads, instead of just telling the kids they can't eat food tonight.
Yeah.
Like we all got to experience when we were kids, that, well, if you don't want it, you can not eat anything.
Exactly.
So I do, like my daughter says she wants hot dogs, but my son wants fucking chicken fingers, and I'm cooking some different thing for my wife and my dad and I just because we all eat adult food. And so one basket's doing chicken fingers, fucking one basket's doing sausages. It's awesome.
Yeah, I need to maybe upgrade to that two basket one, when I've got these two gals at me wanting different meals. So yeah. I'll just eat in the corner in the darkness with an empty plate. The invisible plate like Hook. You're doing it, Peter.
Well, that's the thing, man. Like, because although I do all the cooking, I'm not like a great chef. And so I try and do multitasking. Like, I'll do dishes while I cook. And then what that just ends up happening is I just burn shit all the time.
Yeah.
And so having tools that help me not burn things is like guardrails.
Exactly. These kitchen tools, they're like our tools in our computers, in our DAWs, all these things that help us. I'm the one who has to like come up with the recipe. I'm the one who has to think about like what's going to make this taste good, the flavors. And that's like when you're composing, writing, whatever you're doing. But these other tools, they're going to make it, just really come out popping like it came from a restaurant or a record studio.
That was a brilliant way to tie that together.
Well, it is a music show, and I figured we'd do something in the middle.
Well, how about we listen to some then, because that's what we do here. How about another Yachts on Fire track?
Okay, if we're not going to split the audience down the middle, you can play one of those non-synthwave tracks.
Hey, man, the audience can kiss my ass.
Fuck them. Let's roll.
I'm trying to think, which one should we do? Ride by Night or Argentina? I actually like every song, so...
Maybe Argentina, it's kind of uplifting and got some... do whatever you want. Ride by Night. Ride by Night's kind of cool. All
right, let's do that then.
Yeah.
This is Ride by Night by Yachts on Fire. that was Yachts on Fire with Ride. Yeah, that was Yachts on Fire. Fuck me.
Ride on my night.
Yeah.
Ride by night.
Ride by night.
I appreciate you pushing these out there in the talks we were having before about different creative outlets and how I've come to the conclusion of just putting out some different projects. I appreciate you pushing this one. It's been a year and, it didn't really like do anything. Like I didn't promote it overly hard, but sometimes Synthwave has spoiled me a little bit because of the crazy weird built-in genre that actually there's a passion about the music there. And if you try to start something in a different genre or do another project, there's no scene like this one. You can maybe put out some synthwave music if you're a new artist. It maybe gets played on this show, maybe a playlist kind of picks it up and it funnels into like this crowd that maybe like they start getting followers and you know what I mean? Like it's this built-in passionate scene, and I just feel like that spoiled me a bit, like thinking that it works that way. And like if I put out some like crazy hard rock album right now, even if it sounded great, I wouldn't even know how to like get followers. Most of the sponsored ads and things like that I see from like rock bands or kind of singer-songwriters, like it seems really tough out there for them.
Yeah, I wonder, it would be really funny if there's like some weird parallel show where like there's this guy just like me who's got like the same voice, but he just handles a different genre. I thought about that.
Yeah.
As like a side thing. Just do the exact same show, but just a different genre.
But what would that be?
I don't know.
Think about what this genre means. And look, like there are tropes that are like, okay, like I think the scene is bigger or better than sometimes the box it's put in. But my point is like this scene is like built around movies, culture, like 80s culture, nostalgia. It's plus the music. There's no like hard rock scene that's built around like action movies at the same time.
Right.
It's kind of like, what would you talk about on this other genre show that there's nothing. There's nothing like this genre. You know what I mean? Where it's built in this all-encompassing aesthetic, the way it looks. If you say synthwave, you can see it.
Yeah.
You can see what that sounds like. It's purple, it's pink, it's neon, it's bright, it's dark, it's industrial. Like you see that. And whether good or bad or ups and downs or pros or cons with this scene, it's crazy. And that kind of wraps up to me not being bitter because I'm very thankful for like this crazy scene that like has literally kind of saved my life in a manner of speaking by like paying my bills most of the last like half of the decade. And it's crazy. I can't think of any other scene like that. And if anyone's out there, please write to me. Let me know if you know of some other identical or similar like powerful all-encompassing scene. I'd love to know because I will make that album and move into that one. So please let me know.
I wonder, well, I guess, like there's like those metal people that like Satan.
Yeah, but I'm fully versed in metal world. And like, there's not like, you might have what I'm talking about with horror culture and like with certain metal genres. And yes, there's some sort of like horror movie tie-in with metal, but it's just not the same all-encompassing like life force, if that makes sense, to synthwave. It's just so much bigger of things you can talk about. Games, Nintendo, Game Boy, arcades. Like there's so much more that goes under this umbrella of synthwave, retrowave.
I guess just because it's like the source material is a time.
Exactly.
So it does just allow that pretty much anything can fall under the banner of. That's why some people get upset with the, when you call something 80s. Because there is like some nerds out there that get mad when they see like the 80s hashtag. It's like, what does that mean exactly? Because like it's not like they were only doing one thing. Like it's a decade. Like there's a lot of shit going on.
Yeah, and then that's like a polarizing thing in the scene of like, does it sound 80s enough or whatever? Like I never wanted to be like, this was found in a box and it's from the 80s, like there's kind of two people in the scene that are making like stuff they want it to sound like it's from the 80s and other people want it to sound like it's modern with like lots of nostalgic 80s elements in it, and I would be more of the latter.
That's always been the magic to me, is like I like new music.
Yeah.
So I want to hear new things, and that's what gets me excited. But there's these nice little flourishes. I like those retro synth sounds, those like pads and fat bass lines and stuff like that. But I still like new production value. Like I know there's some things people do for nostalgia. It's just like putting the VHS filter on video, where like, let's make it sound all wobbly and it's got like this hiss on it like a tape. But I like clean audio.
Yeah.
I like, what the fuck? Hold on. Johnny just... Johnny, get off me. Hey, hold on.
I hope Johnny's your cat.
Yeah, can you hear him?
Let me talk to him.
Okay, buddy, get out of here. Sorry, that was a little Johnny break. He likes to climb on me.
What's his name?
His name's Johnny Gizmo. He's our newest kitten.
Nice. JG.
That's
Old
right.
JG.
We just call him Johnny. At first, it was like I thought maybe I'd call him Gizmo more because he looks kind of like Gizmo, but
You didn't want to get sued?
yeah. Could you imagine? Fucking cease and desist. Don't call your pet that.
yeah.
What?
Ultimate Big Brother. Like, remember that movie Equilibrium?
Yes.
What was that, like no art? Or like, I can just imagine this future scenario where we're all chipped up and you name your cat Gizmo and the door breaks in and it's Joe Dante's lawyer.
Yeah.
Is that the director?
Yeah.
Did I nail it?
Yes, you
All
did.
right, cool. Awesome. I've got cred.
See, man, yeah, you get that Synthwave cred.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's stuff like that allowed me to come into this world. There was nothing I really learned from Synthwave. Do you know what I mean? Like in terms of like movies or I know I've met some people either at shows or, wherever in life over the last couple of years that found this scene and like it was more discovery to them versus like all the stuff that they knew growing up. And now it's kind of encompassed in this one scene. So I don't know where the appeal of that is. Kind of like I'm only 25, but this stuff looks cool that I don't remember at all from it never happening when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So that's weird to me. I don't know, because this whole stuff is kind of built around like a feeling. Yeah. Wouldn't you say that like all these sounds like it's from just childhood and like rerun movies on Sunday afternoon? And so it's interesting when someone's really, really not from that time, like born in like the late 90s or something, and they're kind of into this scene. It's cool. It's hopeful. Maybe there's more people out there. I don't know. It's interesting stuff.
We'll have to do like a research paper on it.
Let's do it. Let's quit our hustles and find these newborn synth babies.
I like how you're always so game to just drop whatever's going on and just hop on the thing.
Well, I'm my own boss and I can do as I please. That's the good thing. I can work as hard or as little as I want, and that's the outcome. So if nothing's coming in, like then I'm the one to blame for not working hard enough. Yeah. And it's really all up to me how much I want to get done, how much I want to push through. And that is a luxury that few have. But it also weighs on you to like kick your own ass, because if you have like regular schedules, regular jobs, regular situations, whether you hate your job or not, you know what you're doing that day and you're going to go do it. Mm-hmm. And that's sometimes a lot easier for people to deal with, whether they complain about their job. Like a lot of people would crumble under the like, that's why people in retirement don't know what to do. Yeah. And they're like, well, I fished for 3 days and now I don't know what to do for the next 20 years.
Eat that fish.
Yeah. Well, you teach a man to fish. So they say.
Well, listen, I'm going to teach some people to listen to cool music by playing some.
All right.
Why not? Let's listen to The Ghost on the Highway. How about that?
Okay. Let's hit it.
This is Droid Bishop with The Ghost and the Highway. And that was The Ghost in the Highway by Droid Bishop, who I'm speaking to right now. We're catching up. It's been a long time.
We're reading each other's diaries and feeling the same way about each other.
Well, see, that's why I like talking to you. I like when people have the exact same thoughts as me.
Yeah, I don't like anyone to think anything different than me. And I'm not joking, and it's something that I have struggled with and work on. Because I do believe opinions are important, and we all have them, and I know that I'm not always right, and we're our own people, but like you said, it would just be great if everyone just thought like us,
Yeah.
We'd get a lot of things done around here.
You're damn right. We could build a house.
Well, I don't know about that, Andy, but I'm sure we'd get a lot of stuff done, and we'd have a good time doing it.
I'm building an arcade machine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What are you putting in there?
This is the first thing I've ever built in my life out of wood. I'm not like a very handy guy.
Well, I can't wait to see it.
And I'm not using any instructions.
Well, that's always a good idea. So will this be working arcade?
Well, hopefully, so the actual games itself, that part's the easy part. The hard part is just actually building, because I've never built anything before. So this is the first time.
That usually is the hard part.
Yeah, so
I've got the concept, but
usually I just
now I have to build it.
Yeah, there should be an arcade machine right there. I was thinking about getting one of those arcade one-ups.
Yeah, I've seen those. I wanted to get one too, but it's like wanting and needing things are different these days, especially, the one I was looking at was, $400 or something.
Yeah.
And I'd rather put that, I have to spend a lot of money, a couple times a year on different things for music production or whatever it may be. And I'd rather spend $400 on, some new synth or something like that. And because I get so nerdy about games these days, but I just find myself buying something and then I don't play it as much as I thought I would.
Yeah.
Or, I got a PS5 and I love it. And I actually like that. It was a reason to buy that was just the interface itself. It's kind of replaced whatever the shitty Fire Stick I had, which is terrible and bugs out. And I love the interface and switching between, media and games. And but I've also found myself I get excited about a game. I downloaded the Valhalla Rising or whatever that Assassin's Creed one is, and it's super sick. And I got into it for, some days, and then, you go back to work, you do something, you just don't go back to that. You never finish that game.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like I'm there these days. I don't know if you're there.
Yeah, man. It's sort of the same thing. I've just been less interested in new games lately, in general. And I cut back my video game budget, which is kind of why I'm doing this arcade project. I want to maybe play more classic games and just play the fucking games that I bought that I never beat.
Yeah.
Because I'm the same way. I buy games and then I'm just not that super compelled after a week. And then I feel bad because games are expensive these days.
It's $70.
Yeah. And that's American. So Canadian, it's so
1,000 Canadian dollars.
Yeah. So I'm going to be pretty stubborn this year, where it's I bought Mortal Kombat and I paid for the special edition so I could play it a week early or whatever. So I'm just going to stubbornly just play it out of spite.
Yeah, I totally get that. I felt like I was forcing playing something the other day because I'd spent money on it, and I just feel like I still enjoy playing games, and they're good to take breaks, and also different types of games. Me and my partner play that game It Takes Two. That's a great 2-player game.
Yes.
It's the only real 2-player game I've ever played to a degree where it's you can't play it without someone helping you. And I think that's actually a really cool experience. My girlfriend's not a big gamer. Everyone had Nintendo when they were kids, but that's been cool for us. But there are a couple games and franchises you do spend money on. I buy FIFA every year, doesn't matter. I'm a huge soccer football guy, but I've decided to recently I just got that the cloud thing, the PlayStation Plus. I already had the online thing, and I'd rather just spend X amount of dollars on a year subscription to play a ton of games that are fun to play, and there's no commitment. You stream it and it's all right, that was fine. Or sometimes you buy a game for $60 and you play it and you're I don't love this.
Yeah.
And you're ugh. And then you have to finish it because you paid $60. And some of these games are $60 and here's a 30-hour game for you to try and beat. And I don't know. It's is it too long?
What bugged me is when I got into a game that then they took off the list. I'm discovering games I didn't know I would like. So I got into Stardew Valley and shit, which is a game I never thought I would be interested in. I'm always playing games where there's lots of killing and like running around shooting stuff and fighting people. And then I ended up playing this stupid like farming simulator social game or whatever, and it actually was really good. And then I started playing this other one called Graveyard Keeper, which was the same thing where you just like manage a graveyard.
I started one of those. It's like that's what you're doing. There's not some vampire that comes out. It's like you're just the graveyard site keeper.
Yep. But I got really into it, and then they took it off the list. And I'm like,
bastards.
You're going to make me fucking buy it?
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out, but I don't know. What should we do, Andy?
How about we listen to your redux of Galaxy Unknown?
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's take it back.
This is Droid Bishop with Galaxy Unknown Redux. And that was Galaxy Unknown Redux by Droid Bishop. I'm here with Droid Bishop right now. Why did you want to redux that track?
Why did I want to redo that? Well, it was 10 years. That was the first track I put out as Droid Bishop that got me going into this scene. I remember sending that track to like Tommy86. He was one of the first guys I discovered, and I sent him that on SoundCloud or something 10 years ago. And he's like, wow, this is a great track. And he reposted it on his SoundCloud, and I kind of got some followers through him, which I've mentioned this on the show, and I'm always thankful for him doing that. But, it was 10 years that I never released that on Spotify or anything. It was just maybe on SoundCloud or Bandcamp. And, it's been 10 years of production, schooling in my life and education and production. And I just figured, like, what would I do today with that song? Like the same thing, like not really changing the elements, just kind of like the production and kind of sound quality. I just wanted to do that song again as a 10-year kind of mark, as a kind of full circle, if you will. Mm-hmm. That's my explanation.
Yeah. It's good, and it does sound different. Like sometimes people put out these like Redux tracks and they just sound the same to my ear.
Yeah.
But this definitely sounded like you did things to it.
No, for sure. Yeah, and I may be putting that on some other release with some other stuff, and I'm working on a handful of tracks. I was trying to put something out, and I was working on some other projects. I've been like scoring films on the side, and which is cool, but it just kind of I couldn't get this album done. So I've got a handful of tracks. I'm going to try and push them out earlier in the year, and this may be on there, it may not be on there, but either way, thanks for playing it.
Hey man, I like playing cool music. I'm a big Droid Bishop fan. You know that.
And I always appreciate that support, and I'm always here to support you as well.
It's weird going back and like listening to old episodes, because I will do that sometimes, because you've been on obviously a lot, and it's funny, when you just think 10 years, like it's crazy.
I know. It's getting faster, and that's kind of, I looked back at the 10 years and I'm like, as awesome as the last 10 years have been and lots of cool things have come about it, I don't want to look back on another 10 years and be in the same space.
Do you still do like live guitar for people, or is that done?
It's not done in the sense of like I don't do it anymore. I kind of took a step back before COVID to focus on my own music and push that. And I actually had a pretty big opportunity before it was like right as COVID happened. Long story short, a guy I used to tour with in another band on some of those big tours, he was musical director for that big Weezer, Green Day, Fall Out Boy like stadium rock tour that was like already booked and everything. Like it was like tickets were sold for like the summer of 2020. And blah, blah, blah. I auditioned and this stuff, and it was between me and another guy to be like this utility guitar keyboard guy for Weezer for their shows. That was cool, like, 'cause I grew up listening to them, their earlier stuff, and to be honest, learned a lot about songwriting from the first album or two. Anyway, it was between me and another guy, and they wanted me to come in and meet them and play and see if it was all good. And so that was cool. But then like COVID really like took force, and then it was like within a week, like that meeting had been canceled and the tour was kind of going under, and that was the last I heard of that. And so that didn't work out. And I think to answer your question, if it's the right situation, I still want to do it. I still see myself as a guitar player. I'm up every morning, like practicing for an hour each day. Like that's important to me. And so if I ever do get a call, like I'm not like some rusty player, but we'll see what happens. I still like need to push my own visions here, but I'm always down to play guitar for other people or whatever. Because
again, I was reminiscing that it's just cool early on, right after I met you through the show, you played guitar for a band that toured to Toronto. Remember, like, who was that for again?
When I first talked to you?
Like when you first, remember you came to Toronto. It was like shortly after we met.
Oh.
And then you just happened to come to Toronto to play?
No, I came to Toronto like years after we met. I came to Toronto in 2016.
Yeah, that's not that far off from
2013. Either way, these are semantics. But I was playing with Mike Posner for that too.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah, I remember that. See, like, think about that when you think about time, and you're like, that was 3 years after we met, and that felt like a long 3 years from the day we met, and now that's 7 years ago.
Yeah,
that's 7 years ago. Do you know what I mean? I think about time in those terms of like thinking something was a long time between. It's like the time between the dinosaurs and like Cleopatra or something like that is I'm screwing all this up, and I'm just going to stop talking.
I like
but
your
it's something
version.
to do with time, and like you're looking back, that time between those two things is shorter than the time between like us and them or
what,
whatever.
what you're thinking
longer.
of is like, remember like in the 80s when they talked about the 50s and it seemed like so long ago, but technically we're just as far from the 80s as they were.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
When you look about the 80s, like what is that, 40 years ago. But when you were like in the 90s, like 40 years ago, like seems like just archaic 1950s shit, like what you're saying. And you know, when they say on the radio stations, like the music 70s, 80s, 90s, and today, and it's like, so today's 30 years.
Yeah.
Today is 3 decades.
Yeah.
Like, what are you saying?
It's crazy now that all those things are sort of lumped into one. So now that those old retro stations that used to just be like, it's 80s and stuff, and now those 80s, 90s stations also play kind of 2000s.
Yeah.
And so whenever those radio stations are on, I'm really angry at what I'm hearing.
Well, you know, there's that too, but the feeling of time, it's like the oldie station that I listened to when driving with my mom when I was a kid. That station would play like doo-wop 50s, like I'm a girl watcher, and all these like 50s doo-wop music. And that same station that's oldies,
Yeah,
that never like changed its philosophy, like never new management, same thing. That now is playing Groove is in the Hall. You know, it's like, what? And like Tone Loc, you know, like what are classics and classic rock now? Time is fleeting, my friend. The sands of time are winding down.
Jesus Christ, is that the...
And this is how we wind down this show, by saying that time is fleeting, whether good or bad. That's for you to decide, and do what you need to do while you're on this planet, because tomorrow is not promised, and we all have dreams, and time waits for no man or woman or person. So get that shit done.
Well, listen, man, how about this? Why don't we end on a Yachts on Fire track, and then we'll say goodbye, because I know you have like a heart out here. So
yeah, let's do that.
So, do you want to pick one, or do you want us to listen to Argentina?
Yeah, let's do Argentina. Let's hit them and be on our way.
All right, well, this is, we're going to listen to some song, and then we'll say goodbye to Droid Bishop. So this is Argentina by Yachts on Fire. that was Argentina by Yachts on Fire, which is, of course, the alias of Droid Bishop, which is, of course, the alias of James
Bowen.
That's correct.
Which is,
of course, the alias of
Andy
Beep.
of Beyond Synth.
Yeah.
And now we're losing our minds.
I always enjoy catching up with you. I feel like normally we kind of chat in between these things, but I feel like I actually literally have not talked to you in a long time.
Yeah, having the kid and all that stuff, just kind of, you pick moments of, a lot of people have kind of felt that way. You're just kind of in your bubble and you're sorting your life out and making sure your close-knit family is taken care of. But I'm kind of out of that first 6 months whirlwind and trying to reconnect with more people and bringing the baby out to things and having fun and just trying to enjoy life with, guiding this little angel through life and not destroying her before the world does. And, just making sure I do what I got to do for everyone out there.
Yeah, man. Well, listen. I guess because I never actually said it, but congratulations.
Oh, thanks.
Having a kid and stuff like that.
Thanks, Papa Bear.
I'm really bad at doing those social pleasantries you're supposed to do with people. Like, people will send me messages like, hey, I'm getting married. And I'm like, cool.
Well, yeah. I mean, I personally don't need to, like, a lot of people probably don't even know I have a kid. Like, people that I know still don't know. If you were really in the current space of my life, you would know. And if not, then we're not somewhere right now in our life, and that's fine. And, the whole, like, texting, like, hey, congratulate me, this is happening in my life. Like, people sending out like text Christmas newsletters to people. Like, it's fine, man. We'll see what you're doing on socials.
Well, you won't though, because it never shows up in my feed.
Exactly.
I just get like 80 commercials and like
damn algorithm not showing my wedding announcement. I'm sure if I put a wedding announcement or baby announcement, that would trump all my musical posts. And
yep,
you see Droid Bishop account slowly turn into like a wedding and baby photographer account. That's me. You ever see those accounts that just shift? I'm pretty sure this guy was a chef at some point, and now he's like selling houses. And I'm like, okay, I'll mute that account.
I just like, man, I've been following this chef. It's really important to me, and he fucking changed gears. It pissed me off.
People like that. Seems like people have spoken and they want 10 songs or 10 things that live under an umbrella, and that's fine. And I'm learning to navigate through that demand.
Well, listen, man, that's the cross you have to bear.
Yes.
As cool musician.
Yes, but I take the challenge for you, Andrew. For you and all alike.
No, I liked it better when it was just for me.
All right, fuck them all. Just for you, Andrew.
Well, listen.
And only you.
Listen, you have a lovely day.
All right. Well, Happy New Year, holidays. Blessed to all.
Yeah, man. Do you have any plans?
For what? For which thing?
Easter. Do you have any Easter plans?
No, I haven't thought that far ahead, but you know what? Let's just stick with Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, buddy.
Happy New Year. Let's do this again, not a year later. And we always say that. I swear, you look at the last one, it'll be like, let's do this. Not sooner than later.
Yeah, well, whatever, man. Look, the bottom line is...
we're here now, and that's what counts.
Yeah, I got Droid Bishop in my mind and heart, so I'm always excited when new things come out. And as we're recording this, what's the most recent thing is this little classical music EP, which is just a short 4-song EP of like classical pieces that I turned into like synth arrangements. Like your Claire de Lune?
Yeah, that's on there. So there's like 3 others, and it's called Analog Arrangements by Droid Bishop. All
right, man. Well, listen, you take care of yourself, and we'll...
yeah.
Don't be a stranger now.
I won't. I'll be at your window at 7 p.m.
I'm a girl watcher.
That's what I do. I'm an Andrew watcher. I'm an Andy watcher, preferably in the shower.
Hey, man.
Anyway, I'll leave it to it, and I'll see you sometime.
All right, take care, dude.
All right, later.
All right, and that was my chat with Mr. Droid Bishop. Hope you enjoyed that. I do enjoy catching up with him, and we'll do it again sometime. In the meantime, thank you for listening to the show. Hope you're all having a lovely day. I would like to do a little quick random shout out to some of my awesome Patreon supporters. A quick thank you here to Nathan Winter and Seach and Argen 1981 and Tom Hansen and Martin and Heartbeat Hero and Eric Soikins. Thanks for supporting Beyond Synth. If you enjoy the show, you can go to patreon.com/BeyondSynth and give me all your money. You can also go to BeyondSynth.com and click on the PayPal button. There's also a PayPal me link in the episode description. Oh, there's another thing I want you to do. If you want to help me out and be a kind person, which I know you're very kind people, go to iTunes, and if you haven't ever done it, leave a 5-star review and say whatever you want in the actual paragraph, and I will read it on the show. So it can be like the stupidest paragraph in the world, just so long as it's a 5-star review. These are the last-ditch efforts, by the way. I've tried everything. This podcast has been going for a long time, and I'm now going to petition you for iTunes reviews. Maybe I should have done that from the start. But yeah, do it. Just a 5-star review, but the actual body of the review, you can say whatever random gibberish you want, or it can be as negative as you want, because I think the only thing that matters is the stars. So you do that, and I will read them on the show, maybe with Marco or Mike or something. And if you have not done that already, iTunes reviews. I'm told, does it even help anymore? I feel like I'm probably like 8 years behind. Who cares? Anyways, have a lovely day. Tune in next time to Beyond Synth. It is the best synthwave chat show there is.
Beyond Synth Radio is produced by Andy Last. Check the show notes for more information on the musicians featured on the show. Consider supporting Beyond Synth at patreon.com/BeyondSynth. Thanks for listening.